Dear ladies and gentlemen, participants of the conference, it's my pleasure to present to you service learning tools for the STEM education, the case of Ukrainian Catholic University as engaged university. My name is Yuliia Kleban, and I would like to present to you today the following agenda. So firstly, I would like to introduce me and the university I represent, and then we will switch to the service learning projects, experiences, and pedagogy at our university. So I hold PhD in economics and I work at the Department of Applied Economics and Business. I am an academic head of the Bachelor Program IT in Business Analytics. Part-time, I am accreditation expert in Ukraine, and I represent today Task Force Group for Service Learning at the Ukrainian Catholic University. As you may see from this slide, that is the picture of our main university campus with our modern buildings of the university, library, church, dormitories, and other academic buildings. We are relatively modern and small university, but we are thinking big. And by thinking big, I mean our mission. Our mission is to build an open academic community that lives the Eastern Christian tradition and forms leaders to serve with professional excellence in Ukraine and internationally for the glory of God, the common good, and the dignity of the human person. By pursuing this mission, I would like to stress for you all that Ukrainian Catholic University is very connected to the community in the very broad sense of this word. We are, as a university, the successor of the Greek Catholic Theological Academy, which was created at the beginning of 20th century. And for the time being, we are 6 faculties. So the university has grown especially rapidly during the last 5 years. And at the moment, we are about to have almost 2,000 students at 6 faculties like theology, philosophy, humanities, social sciences, applied sciences, business school. At the Ukrainian Catholic University, service learning is about to be formed on the institutional level. That is our long-term goal. For making that real, we have formed the task force group the last year, and we are building our excellence within the group. For doing that, we have taken the online courses from CLACE for understanding better the service learning practices and pedagogy and service learning projects. We are currently the members of European Association of Service Learning in Higher Education. We have built in the very university strategy for the next 5 years the service learning philosophy. And the name of this strategy is the university that serves. And we are working a lot for making the service learning approach shared within our community greatly. And also it's not indicated here on the slide, but we are thinking about sharing that knowledge with our partners, other universities in Ukraine and abroad as well. My personal experience with service learning is the following. I teach course Social Entrepreneurship, and this course is delivered for the students on the bachelor level. Those are the students of computer science and business analytics. And during the course, students are able to understand social problems and how they can apply their tech skills for the good of others, for the community needs, for example. For making students understand better the social needs in general, we have covered with them, for example, the social responsibility programs for the company Okta indicated here. We have studied with them several business approaches and tools, and we have tried to apply that for the STEM topic. So based on the needs of the course, we have tried to work with the following learning outcomes. So that is the list actually of the program of the course that we have applied to the very needs in the terms of the social problem and for working with the community. By working with the community, I mean using the STEM education in Ukraine topic and following very simple steps, defining the problem and going back to the solution. So STEM education mean very generally science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and that is a very broad educational approach that covers not only, for example, specific subjects, but also talks about interdisciplinary and a lot about real-life applicability of the knowledge that students receive. And by students in this topic, we mean school pupils, which is about the secondary schools. Why we covered this topic? So the topic covers actually in general the educational reform in Ukraine. And educational reform in Ukraine is about building the right competences and skills for the future work. As we can see from this slide, those are the very short numbers from the PISA test that our school pupils have taken 2 years ago. So this test actually tries to measure, assess the quality of educational system, and based on the numbers received and compared with other countries, for example, with Estonia and Poland, those are like relatively the same countries as Ukraine, we have studied that the level of instruction in the way of application of the knowledge that pupils receive at schools rather low. So we tried with students to think what can be done here. And for understanding this topic more not only broadly, but to be more specific in terms of the very assignment, we studied the kind of market of Ukrainian STEM education. And currently there are lots of activities that are happening on the governmental level or local level or private level or institutional level, I mean at schools, but the very information or activities are that overwhelming that we had to find the really correct focus for our project. And that focus was about studying the business domain, understanding what are the processes, and by understanding the processes that helped us understand what is happening currently and building as is system, and then using the imagination, creation of the students at the course, we have tried to present some recommendations, ideas for teachers and for pupils. So from this slide, I would like to argue for you that the work that students have done is very structured and very precise in terms of the needs of the teachers, because they were the main our customers. For understanding the customer needs, we have used the survey approach for collecting the data, for actually then later analyzing the data. Why surveys? Because the course happened and the project happened during the online instruction that we had to have during the pandemic period, so we were not able to connect with teachers directly, at least in a broader sense. Some teams have used only this interview approach for collecting the data about the teachers and their experiences. So what is the outcome? I would like to stress on the results that we have received. So for each idea about the STEM education, and the focus that the groups of students have used was about building a very specific instruction, like a toolbox for the teacher for making real some of the main specific STEM approaches. Those are, for example, interdisciplinary STEM class, or interdisciplinary project within the school, or, for example, project-oriented approach at the classes of math, physics, or, for example, arts. Also, it was about a very problem-oriented approach, because that is actually the most painful thing for teachers, that generally they do know about STEM education. They do know about the needs of their students, about the pupils at schools. They do understand about the level of applicability of the knowledges, but they really lack the specific tools that are in hand for them for making that real. And by using the form from the business point of view use case, we have described in each case of the 12 different projects that we have delivered what the very specific teacher can use for his or her needs for application of the STEM approach, and making really workable this model. I would like then to switch to another project that we were able to deliver during the pandemic period, and that was about the pilot project of other my colleagues. The project was about the social services for the war veterans and members of their families. So this project was based on the needs of the people dedicated to the Ukrainian-Russian war that is happening, and as well students worked closely with the appropriate organizations that are delivering those social services. So at the Ukrainian Catholic University, we are working a lot for making service learning our working experience, our everyday experience, and for making that real, we are also open to the next steps that are needed for making the long-term goal viable about the institutional level of the service learning. And for making that real as well, we also developed our understanding of the service learning approach at the UCU. That is educational approach that directs at forming academic knowledge, practical skills, and appropriate attitude towards solving problems in the community and together with community. And basically by using this notation about with community and together with community, we are trying to share with our university community what is actually about service learning, what is the benefit for both university and community organizations and representatives. And what we are searching right now is to find partners, European partners from Eastern Europe, to making our knowledge and our skills like a university very structured and very applied. So that is the current thing that we would like to hear from our colleagues, for example, at this conference, from other universities. So I would like to thank you for your attention to my presentation, and I look forward to your questions and comments